this. There comes a moment in life when everything slows down, the noise of the world fades, and you begin to ask yourself this: why am I here? What is my purpose? But the more you search for that answer, the further it seems to drift away. You read the books, follow the paths of others, chase dreams that were never truly yours. And still something inside remains empty. That emptiness is not a sign of failure. It is an invitation. An invitation to stop looking outward and to begin becoming inward. You see, purpose is not a light waiting to be found. It is a fire waiting to be built. And the moment you understand this, your journey transforms from searching for meaning to creating it with every step you take. So stay with me till the end of this message, because if you listen not just with your ears, but with your awareness, you might discover that who you want to be has always been quietly waiting inside you. From the moment we begin to understand the world, we are told to find our purpose. Teachers, parents, society, all of them repeat the same message: find your purpose and your life will make sense. It sounds simple, it sounds noble, but what if that idea itself is the reason so many people feel lost? What if the more we search for a single purpose, the more we drift away from who we truly are meant to become? The truth is the idea of purpose has become an illusion, an image that promises peace, but often brings confusion. Because purpose is not a place you arrive at, it is something you create moment by moment. We live in a world obsessed with goals and achievements. From a young age, we are told to have a clear direction, to define what we want to do and to know exactly who we want to be. But when life doesn't unfold according to that plan, when the path bends or disappears entirely, many people begin to feel like they have failed. They say, I haven't found my purpose yet. They believe they are behind. Yet how can you be behind in a journey that has no fixed destination? The illusion of purpose traps us in comparison. It makes us believe that others who seem sure of their path are somehow ahead, when in truth, they are simply walking their own way. There is nothing wrong with having goals, but there is something dangerous in mistaking them for purpose, because goals can change. Careers, relationships, ambitions, all of them shift as you grow. If your sense of purpose is tied to something temporary, what happens when that thing disappears? You lose your anchor, you lose yourself. And that is why so many people feel hollow after reaching the top of the mountain they spent their life climbing. Because once they arrive, they realize the mountain itself was never truly theirs. The illusion of purpose told them that meaning was out there, waiting to be claimed, when in fact it has always lived within. You do not find purpose the way you find a lost object. Purpose is not hidden behind doors or buried under years of searching. It is born through your actions, your awareness, and your choices. Every morning you wake up and decide how to move, how to think, how to treat others. That is the moment purpose is shaped. It is not a single revelation, it is a daily practice. You are not meant to find a grand reason for your existence. You are meant to live in such a way that your existence itself becomes the reason. When you stop chasing purpose as a fixed identity, you begin to notice the beauty of becoming. You start to see that every experience, even the painful ones, adds to the depth of who you are. Failure is no longer a detour, it becomes a teacher. Confusion is no longer a burden, it becomes a sign of growth. The illusion of purpose fades when you understand that life is not a straight road, it is a flowing river. You cannot control where it bends, but you can learn how to move with it. So instead of asking, what is my purpose? Ask this, who am I becoming through the way I live today? Because that question leads to awareness, not anxiety. It leads to movement, not stagnation. When you live with awareness, purpose becomes something fluid. It grows as you grow, it breathes as you breathe. You stop chasing it like a prize and begin to live it like a truth. And that is when you realize the most powerful understanding of all. You were never meant to find purpose. You were meant to become it. The illusion ends when you stop searching for meaning and start embodying it in every small act of presence, kindness, and discipline. Life is not waiting to reveal your purpose at the end of your journey. It is revealing it with every conscious step you take. The moment you awaken to that, you will see that purpose is not something you need to reach for. It is something that has been silently unfolding within you all along. There is a quiet strength that lives within every human being, the strength of becoming. It is not loud, it does not demand attention, and it does not need recognition. It moves silently through your life, shaping you in ways you may not even notice. The power of becoming is the understanding that who you are is not fixed. It is always in motion. Every breath, every thought, every action is transforming you. The person you were yesterday no longer exists. The one you will be tomorrow is still forming. You are a living process, not a finished product. We often make the mistake of defining ourselves too early. We say, this is who I am. And in doing so, we create a boundary. We limit ourselves to an image that may no longer serve us. But life is fluid. It changes shape like water, and you must learn to change with it. Becoming means letting go of the version of yourself that is comfortable, but no longer growing. It means accepting that change is not loss, it is evolution. Every step you take in awareness reshapes your being. Every lesson you learn, especially the painful ones, carves something deeper within you. You cannot hold on to who you were and expect to meet who you are meant to become. The power of becoming begins the moment you choose to stop running from discomfort. Growth has never lived in comfort. It lives in the space between who you are and who you desire to be. When you allow yourself to step into that space, to walk through fear, uncertainty, and doubt, you awaken the part of you that is alive, raw, and real. That is where becoming begins. In your willingness to experience life fully, even when it is not easy. Every struggle is a seed of transformation. When you stop resisting what challenges you, you begin to understand that pain is not your enemy. It is your guide. The beauty of becoming lies in presence. You do not become through what you dream of doing one day. You become through what you do right now. The choices you make in small unseen moments are the ones that shape your character. The discipline to stay calm when you could react, the patience to stay kind when you could turn away, the courage to rise after you fall. These are the silent actions that define your becoming. You do not need to announce your transformation to the world. True becoming happens quietly. And one day you simply realize that you are no longer who you used to be. We often believe that to change we must become someone entirely different. But the truth is becoming is not about replacing yourself, it is about uncovering yourself. Beneath layers of fear, expectations, and conditioning lies your truest form. When you begin to peel those layers away, you don't become someone new, you return to someone real. Becoming is remembering. It is remembering the strength, the clarity, the peace that was always within you but got buried under noise. You do not need to chase greatness. you need to reveal it. And that yet becoming requires one essential thing, awareness. Without awareness, growth turns into repetition. You begin to repeat the same patterns, the same mistakes, the same fears. Awareness breaks that cycle. It allows you to see where you are standing and where you are heading. When you act with awareness, even the smallest decision can lead to transformation. You realize that your environment does not define you. Your past does not define you, and even your present is not permanent. You are free to evolve. You are free to become. There is no final version of you waiting at the end of the road. The process of becoming never ends. That is the beauty of it. You are constantly learning, expanding, and deepening your understanding of what it means to be alive. And when you begin to live with that awareness, with that quiet acceptance that you are always in the process of creation, you begin to feel a profound sense of peace. You stop rushing toward the future and you start living inside the unfolding moment. That is the true power of becoming. The ability to meet yourself anew in every breath, in every experience, in every act of awareness. There is a kind of strength that does not shout, does not fight, and does not rush. It is the strength of stillness. In a world that constantly demands movement, achievement, noise, distraction, stillness becomes one of the most difficult disciplines to master. Yet, it is in stillness that transformation truly begins. The body can be in motion, but the mind can remain unmoved. When you learn to sit in silence without the need to escape, you begin to face the truth of who you are. Stillness reveals everything you try to hide from yourself. It is a mirror that does not distort. A reflection that does not flatter. It simply shows. And that is why most people run from it, because stillness demands honesty. The discipline of stillness is not about doing nothing. It is about doing one thing completely, being present. It is the art of sitting with your thoughts, your emotions, and your discomfort without judgment. In stillness, the mind begins to slow, the breath deepens, and the noise of the world softens. You start to realize that silence is not empty, it is full of answers. The thoughts that used to control you begin to lose their grip. The emotions that once overwhelmed you start to dissolve. You see that peace was never something to be found outside. It was always waiting beneath the surface of your own awareness. But to reach that depth, you must first endure the waves at the top. Most people mistake movement for progress. They think that doing more means becoming more. But if your actions come from confusion, you only move in circles. Stillness teaches you direction. It gives clarity. When you stop reacting to everything around you, you start responding from a deeper place within. That response is not impulsive. It is deliberate, calm, and powerful. A still mind does not rush to control situations. It observes, it understands, and it acts with precision. That is the true strength of stillness. It allows you to act without attachment and to move without losing balance. Stillness also teaches humility. In silence, there is no ego to protect, no image to maintain. You are simply there, bare, breathing, existing. You realize how small you are in the vast rhythm of life, and yet how connected you are to everything. When you observe the rising and falling of your breath, you see that it moves with the same rhythm as the waves, the wind, the heartbeat of the earth. You are not separate from the world. You are part of it. This understanding changes everything. You no longer fight life, you flow with it. And in that flow, there is peace. But stillness requires practice. It is a discipline, not a moment of comfort. When you first sit in silence, your mind will resist. It will wander, it will argue, it will remind you of everything unfinished. You will want to move, to check, to escape. Yet, the moment you stay, even when every part of you wants to leave, that is where growth begins. Each time you return to silence, you strengthen your awareness. Each time you breathe through discomfort, you build resilience. Stillness is not the absence of challenge, it is the ability to stay centered within it. When the storms of life arrive, and they always will, stillness becomes your anchor. The winds may rage, but you remain grounded. You begin to understand that peace is not the absence of chaos, but the presence of clarity amidst it. You no longer seek calm conditions, you carry calmness within. And that is the highest discipline of all. In stillness, the need to prove fades, the urge to compete softens, the desire to control disappears. You begin to see that the most powerful thing you can do is not to conquer the world, but to master yourself. That mastery is not achieved through strength of muscle or wealth of knowledge. It comes through the quiet power of awareness. When you can be still and see yourself clearly, you understand that nothing outside of you can disturb your peace without your permission. The discipline of stillness transforms you. It sharpens the mind, opens the heart, and aligns the spirit. It teaches you that silence is not an absence. It is a presence, a sacred space where you meet the truth of who you are. And once you learn to rest within that space, the noise of the world no longer controls you. You move through life with calm eyes, steady breath, and a grounded heart. That is the power of stillness, to master motion without moving, and to find peace not by escaping the world, but by becoming fully awake within it. There comes a point on the path of self-discovery when the search for purpose fades, and what remains is a quiet understanding. You begin to see that life does not need to be controlled, nor defined, practice, nor forced into meaning. It is already complete in its movement. To live beyond purpose is to live in flow, to move in harmony with what is rather than constantly resisting what could be. Flow is not something you create, it is something you allow. It is the natural state of being when the mind stops fighting. When the heart stops clinging, and when you simply let life unfold through you. When you live in flow, you no longer measure your worth by outcomes. You no longer wake up with the weight of expectations pressing against your chest. You act not to prove, but to express. Every step you take becomes part of a rhythm that is larger than yourself. There is no need to rush, because there is nowhere to arrive. The present moment becomes the destination. And each breath carries meaning. This is the freedom that comes when you move beyond purpose. Purpose seeks to define you. Flow allows you to be. In this state, you begin to understand that control is an illusion. The more you try to control life, the more it resists you. But when you surrender, not out of weakness, but from wisdom, you discover that everything begins to align. The right opportunities appear, the right people cross your path, and the right lessons unfold. You are no longer forcing your way through existence, you are dancing with it. Flow is not passive, it is deeply alive. It is the awareness that your actions, thoughts, and emotions are all part of the same movement of life. Living as flow requires trust. Trust that even the moments of stillness, the pauses and the setbacks are part of your unfolding. When things don't go as planned, you no longer call them failures, you call them teachers. When people leave, you no longer see loss, you see space being created for new growth. This shift in perception changes everything. You stop reacting to life, and you begin responding to it with grace. Flow turns struggle into understanding, and resistance into acceptance. You realize that peace does not come from having everything under control. It comes from knowing that you don't need to. When you are in flow, even ordinary actions become sacred. Making tea, walking, breathing, everything carries awareness. You start to move with intention, not haste. You listen more than you speak. You observe more than you react. Practice. And through that awareness, life becomes beautifully simple. The same world that once felt heavy now feels light. You no longer see life as a series of problems to solve, but as experiences to live. Every moment becomes an expression of your inner balance. The flow state cannot be reached through effort. It is reached through alignment. It begins when your thoughts, emotions, and actions move together in harmony. When the mind says yes, the heart says yes, and the body follows. There is no conflict, only presence. You no longer feel divided between what you want and what you must do. You simply act, and that action feels effortless. In this harmony, even challenges lose their power to break you. They become waves you learn to ride rather than fight against. To live as flow is to become one with the rhythm of existence. The sun rises and sets without struggle. The river flows without needing to know where it ends. The tree grows without asking why. In the same way, you learn to trust your unfolding. You stop questioning your path and start walking it with peace. This is the essence of living beyond purpose, not to abandon meaning, but to dissolve into it so completely that you and meaning become one. When you reach this place, you no longer chase happiness, success, or enlightenment. You realize that all of it is already here within this moment. You live not to arrive somewhere, but to experience fully what it means to be alive. Every breath becomes a prayer. Every step becomes meditation. Practice. Every experience, whether joyful or painful, becomes a teacher guiding you deeper into yourself. This is flow, to be fully present, deeply aware, and endlessly becoming. Beyond purpose, there is no striving, no searching. No need to prove. There is only movement, soft, aware, and infinite. You live not as someone trying to master life, but as someone who has become one with it. That is the ultimate freedom. To live as flow is to understand that you are not here to find meaning. You are here to be the expression of it. And when you finally realize that every moment of your life becomes sacred, every act becomes complete, and every breath becomes enough. When you reach the end of this journey, you begin to realize that it was never about finding something outside of you. Every question you carried, every struggle you faced, every silence you endured, they were never meant to lead you somewhere else. They were meant to bring you back to yourself. Purpose was never hiding in the distance. It was breathing with you through every moment of awareness, whispering through every decision, guiding you through every fall and rise. You were never lost. You were always becoming. You see now that life is not about finding a fixed purpose or achieving a perfect form. It is about movement, about awakening, about remembering. Every step you take shapes the person you are becoming, and every breath teaches you how to live a little more consciously. You have learned that becoming is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming more yourself. It is about removing the layers that were never truly you until what remains is simple, honest, and alive. And in that becoming, you discovered stillness, the place where clarity is born. The stillness that allows you to hear the quiet voice beneath the noise. The stillness that does not escape the world, but sees the world as it truly is. Because when the mind is calm, truth becomes visible. When the heart is still, wisdom speaks. This. Then comes the final step, the step beyond purpose. The moment when you stop chasing meaning and begin living it. This. You no longer need to ask what your purpose is, because your life itself becomes the answer. You act with awareness. This. You speak with intention. You live with balance. And in doing so, you move in harmony with everything around you. This. To live as flow is to live freely, to move with life rather than against it. You become the river, not the stone. This. You stop grasping, you stop forcing, you stop needing to know what comes next. You begin to trust, you begin to breathe. This. You begin to be. So if there is one truth to carry from this journey, it is this: you are not here to find your purpose. This. You are here to become the embodiment of it. Every choice you make, every thought you nurture, this. Every act of awareness you bring into this world, that is purpose unfolding through you. The path of becoming never ends. This. There will always be change, always be lessons, always be silence asking to be heard. But now you know how to walk differently. This. You walk with awareness, with balance, with peace. You no longer chase the horizon, you walk beneath it. This. You no longer search for light, you realize you are part of it. And so, when the world becomes loud again, this. Remember this: the purpose you seek is not somewhere out there. It is within your stillness. It is within your becoming. This. It is within your flow. You are not separate from life. You are life, moving, breathing, unfolding, evolving. This. And when you finally understand that, you have already gone beyond purpose.